What is up, friends? I'm just finishing up my Sunday class, and I had a couple questions come up today that made me want to come on. And before I break down any of my equipment and take this light out of my face, follow up with you about, and I don't even know where to look, follow up with you about ankle sprains and ankle injuries and things you can do to fortify your body to prevent them, and or the same things you can do to recover if you're someone on the other side of an injury that's trying to make sure it doesn't happen again. Because as I've mentioned in other videos, and you probably already know, ankle injuries are extremely prone to re-injury for a number of unique characteristics of the way we hurt our ankle tissue. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to refer my camera down to look at my feet, but just big picture is this. Let me give you a few big picture items in case you don't watch the whole video for the demo. Number one, you want to think about what keeps your ankles strong and why are we so prone to injuring them? We injure our ankles because they're a very mobile joint, right? This is a lot of range of motion and a lot of planes of action for my brain and body to organize and keep track of. It's the same reason people have so many shoulder issues and sometimes hip issues, because places in the body where we need a great deal of mobility for the action, right? I need my feet to be able to do off-roading stuff. I'm not meant to just pitter-patter like stilts, okay, on level surface. I need a foot that negotiates the ground and that can maneuver. And what happens is we wear stiff shoes, and we walk on pavement, right? And we don't walk barefoot, and a number of different things that just really disrupt our foot mechanical function and weaken the muscles there. And we end up, we hurt ourselves when the foot is asked to do foot stuff and we're not physically able to do it because we've lost the strength, we've lost the mobility in the ankle, and we've lost the strength and brain, the neuromuscular control over that mobility. Okay, so lots of different pieces that go into why we hurt our ankles. So things you can do is, number one, you want strong feet and strong ankles, because so many of the muscles, and what does it mean to have a strong ankle? An ankle is a joint, okay? So we want muscles of the feet that are strong. See my videos on short foot, for example, which one is one of the most powerful. It's like grip strengthening for your feet, okay? For lack of a better analogy. It is really powerful for strengthening the muscles of the foot that are in the foot. Those are called your intrinsic muscles. And then also the muscles that cross from the calf, equivalent being on my arm here, from the calf into the foot, which are your extrinsic foot muscles. Both of those, the intrinsics, which are going to be negotiating the ground, which are responding to things like vibration, in the sense they are responding to the nerves on the bottom of the foot that are getting the information from the ground to go up to your body and brain, right? So the first responders in the foot, and then the muscles that are crossing the ankle are helping you stabilize all of the ranges of motion we just described. We need the mobility, but it has to be controlled mobility, stabilized mobility, not mobility that is out of control, allowing the joint to just collapse into a really unfriendly position that ultimately tears tissue, that brings the tissue beyond a range of motion that even with its mobility, it is designed to endure, like a lateral ankle roll, which is super common. So number one is strengthening the muscles. What else can you do that kind of goes in line with that? You can strengthen muscles that support the feet, and this came up in class because we're always doing stuff for our hip stability in class, whether it's balance work or lateral strengthening for the hip muscles and the glutes, right? Those muscles of the hip are directly responsible for helping me stabilize that ankle. I can't expect that little ankle, right? Little, it has it's a very strong joint, but nonetheless, it's way at the end of the system. If I'm running, or if I'm cutting that way, okay, my body's going this way, I got all this momentum, I'm running, and then I want to change direction. Do I really think my little ankle can do all that? Or say I just step off of a stair. If I step off a stair and I didn't realize it was going to be as steep as it was, can my ankle support the whole weight of my body to not fall that way with my momentum, whether it's momentum that I propelled or momentum that gravity generated? Can I? That's not realistic. I need this hip muscle. I need the horsepower to send my body that way to help the foot react and do its proportional role. All right. There's I keep making like this phone call conversation, because the foot And the way the foot is negotiating the floor, that's why we always are talking about in class having an active, dynamic, awakened, strong, responsive, and agile foot, right, is going to help the ankle be all of those qualities. And the fact that the foot is moving well is helping your brain have a better dialogue with the extremity, which is also going to help it converse with everything along the route. So the hip muscles are getting feedback from the environment of the floor, right? And the foot, the surface, what your momentum is. How does your body know you want to go that way? Well, part of it is it feels you decelerating that direction, and that's going to cue you to push. Just one silly example, but there's this, just to show you, it's systemic. So when you think about your ankle fortification, you need to think of it system-wide. It's your balance, it's your core strength, it's your pelvic floor stability and strength. It's, your movement mechanics, and it's your lateral hips, your full lateral leg, because it's the inner thigh too, not just the outer thigh. They are both anchoring that hip. It's going to send me that direction. Why, when you do skater lunges, right? If you do like a Cossack squat and stuff like that, you're getting outer hip muscles and inner thigh groin eccentric strength, right? Plie or sumo squat exercises. It's for the inner and outer thigh line that is stabilizing the knee and stabilizing the ankle, right? It all is related. So first round of defense against an ankle injury is getting a strong lower body, starting with those feet. Sorry, I'm out of focus. Strong feet, strong hips, and everything I just listed. Strong legs, okay? And core and everything else, okay? Now, the other thing, and this gets a little bit on the higher fruit on the tree, okay? But you can think about things like your footwear and things you can do to stimulate your feet. And that's going to, again, help that conversation, because part of the issue can be our feet muscles are so atrophied because we don't use them in daily life. We've been wearing stiff shoes, like all the trendy shoes. Not to shame any of the brands, but like almost any basketball shoe, almost any running shoe, Vans and Chucks, all those, they're stiff. So our foot might be moving a little bit in the shoe, but it is not actually negotiating terrain, okay? It's not getting the stimulation. It's not allowed to do the muscular work that it's designed to do as this beautiful piece of engineering in our body. I mean, just look at the foot. It's pretty incredible that that structure supports our bipedal lifestyle, okay? So we need to do things to support it, not to inhibit it. In our footwear, I mean, just like high heels and even flats, like women's flats that are super restrictive. It's just, we really undermine our body, okay? So I know that this can be a little bit of a trendy conversation and people like, yeah, minimalist shoe. Like, don't be caught up in the sort of pendulum swing of fads and trends. You want strong feet. And so one of the ways to have strong feet is to not box the foot in and prevent it from moving in a stiff shoe. So having a more flexible shoe, even if it's a more padded shoe, like I have one handy actually, something like, these are old school Nike Frees. Okay, this is a more padded shoe, but it's very flexible. These are fairly new. Well, they're not new. They're very old variety, but they're new out of the box because I hardly ever wear these types of shoes. But it's very flexible. So this could be sort of a transitional shoe, or if you don't want to wear a fully barefoot shoe because you like the padding, at least you'd be getting the option to move the foot more compared to something, I don't have anything handy, but that is a totally minimalist shoe, which is mostly what I wear. So it would be maximum flexibility and minimal padding so that you're always practicing your foot fall, that it's controlled, that you're landing well. You're not allowed to crash land into a padded shoe because you can't get away with that. It's kind of punishing in minimalist shoes. So it actually is extremely educational for your full body strengthening and coordination just to wear a minimalist shoe if you can't walk around barefoot as much as you might like. So get yourself a pair of minimalist shoes if you can. You don't have to trail run in them. You don't have to run on concrete in them. Please don't. Okay, that's extreme. Just wear them to work, wear them around the house, wear them in your daily chores. That alone, and take them on walks, like just be sane about your progress. That alone will do so much to teach your feet how to move in a way that is supportive of preventing ankle injuries. Final thing I want to say here is, because this is Fall Prevention Month, and I made some videos earlier this month about fall prevention awareness. And please note, like, ankle injuries are a huge part of falls, right? People twist an ankle and they go down, and then they end up hurting more things, breaking ribs, breaking hips, breaking wrists, etc. Right? So please just make a note that there is a really strong relationship between the strength of your feet, the vitality and strength and stability of your ankles, the mobility and the controlled, stabilized mobilization of your feet and ankles, and a relationship between that and fall prevention. Okay. And if your doctor or your PT puts you in a brace or a boot or a restrictive shoe, just know that is a hole you need to dig out of, unless you want to wear it for the rest of your life. And honestly, you really don't, because walking around in boots like that or in something really stiff and rigid could be just setting you up for an ankle roll or an injury for all the reasons we just discussed, because those things really turn off the conversation with your brain that is ultimately the master control for what's going on at your feet. So try your best to strengthen your way beyond those injuries, even if you still wear an ankle brace, even if you still, have to do things to fortify and support the body from the exterior. Still do the work to backfill and get the muscular strength, get some more stimulation to your feet, walk barefoot, even just in the brace as much as you can, put textured things in your shoes if you can, wear those sandals with the texture. There's lots of insoles now that have massage beads or full-on textured surfaces for stimulating the skin of the feet. Do all those things, right? Throw the kitchen sink at your foot and ankle health. Love you guys.